playing the rules. Ain't the fame that I'm after when paying the dues. I've been through the pain that's reflected in the attitude. Might be winning now, but the thing is that I had to lose. So go and tell me what you really wanna do. And lonely at the top, cause there ain't a lot of room. Ain't no other option, that's all I ever knew. So I'ma get it poppin', you know how I'ma do. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Niner Boys podcast. I'm your host, Niner Sickness. I am accompanied with my brother from a different mother, Pete. Lucas, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, Beto? What's going on, Brandon? I'm still a little shell-shocked from Sunday, but we're making it.
Yeah, bro.
We got another game.
We got a lot to talk about. A lot of things to talk about on today's show. But before we get started, Brandon, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Finally getting over that horrific loss on Sunday. We have a lot to talk about, like you said, Beto, so let's get right into it, man.
Yeah, there's so much. Everyone, welcome. Those that are coming in, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Besides the usual is taking an L to the Chiefs. The game against the Chiefs on Sunday was terrible, pretty much on all facets. We had 17 missed tackles on defense, 3 turnovers by our quarterback on offense. Injuries keep coming upon us. We lost someone for the rest of the year. Let's go ahead and just address the elephant in the room, gentlemen. Brandon Aiyuk, torn ACL, MCL, and is out for the year. He's gone. Deebo Samuel went to the hospital with pneumonia. He got released. Brandon, real quick, your thoughts on Deebo and particularly Aiyuk losing him for the year.
Well, we'll start off with Deebo first. There was definitely something wrong with him Sunday. People were pointing out how he looked like he was bloated before the game. And then I think he only played one series and then he was out the rest of the game. Then come to find out he had pneumonia. So prayers up to him. Glad he's feeling better and is out of the hospital. And then BA, dude, season-ending injury, torn ACL, MCL. Saw it right away once that DB fucking got him right in the knee. That's a big hit for us for sure. And then the rest of the game. Brock Purdy had to throw to a bunch of rookies, and they don't have no chemistry with each other yet. So you definitely could tell out there that Brock was struggling even more with the rookies out there, right? So, dude, after the Brandon Aiyuk injury, I think I'm at the point where I'm saying season might be done, dude, honestly.
Wow, I don't know about that, but I can understand where you're coming from. It looks like the sky is definitely falling. Pete, oh, go ahead.
Before you go on, Pete, and then we also found out that George Kittle has a sprained foot, so
yes.
That's another too as well. So
yeah, we have a lot of injured players. Pete, your thoughts on Brandon Aiyuk gone for the year? Deebo, being sick, is your sentiment the same kind of like Brandon, where you think it might be the end of the year for us, or do you think there's still a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel if things turn around quickly for us.
I mean, this is the thing. There's always a possibility. We've been in this position before. There's always a possibility that Shanny could turn it around and figure something out. He's been able to adjust in the past. It's not like I don't think he's capable. My question is always when he puts himself, because I really feel like he puts himself in these positions with a lot of his decision making and the way he thinks on certain aspects of the game. But then he kind of pivots, finds something that works, and then they ride it till the wheels fall off, usually all the way into the NFC Championship game. So it's entirely possible that even with all the injuries, Brock is still healthy today, as of today. In 2020, everybody wants to talk about 2020, but we didn't have a quarterback. We couldn't keep a quarterback on the field. So I think as long as they have Brock in there, there's always a chance. And I really think that but I don't think it really has much to do with the weapons. I think that Shanny's offense is not weapon dependent. And it's more about their whole offense is predicated on his scheme. So, and I've been saying that about the NFL for a long time, is that the NFL for the most part is a scheme league now. It's not as much about the players. The players are great. We got a lot of really good players out there, and some do more than others. But a lot of teams can do a lot of things with less talented players than they could in the past. And yeah, so I mean, I think it's possible. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
About Aiyuk.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say something about Aiyuk. So this is why these guys fight for this money. Like people talk about he needs to get into camp and he needs to do this and he needs to do this. This is the reason why they do what they do. And for all the people saying, "Oh, now because he's out, we just wasted all that money," that's pretty pathetic. I'll be honest with you, to even think that way. These guys are putting their bodies on the line every single day. And yeah, I just saw that a couple of times on Twitter today. It made me sick. And because the reality is these guys, yes, they're entertainers. Yes, they're football players, but they're humans and they have families. And this is why they fight so hard for this money. So for all the people that sit there and blame him for not being in camp and all the other stuff, I mean, he did the right thing, in my opinion. Like whatever he had to do to get his money.
Yeah, and particularly in a situation like this where he's hurt, if he would have played this year without that contract, where would he be now in this situation? So you got to get your money, man.
He would have been on his 5th-year option, and like if he had played on his 5th-year option, he would have had no security for next year.
Yep.
I mean, that's the reality of the situation. So, and he could have taken less money. He probably still would have been okay. But I mean, for people saying that they should just make him play on the 5th-year option, that's probably what would have happened. And he would have ended up coming back for having to sign for less money. But now, he did the right thing for him. But people protecting these billionaires, they'll get by. They'll survive.
Definitely. Sorry, I wasn't paying. If you notice, I put our logos on the bottom, so I was doing that where you were conversating. Rod, nice to see you, my friend. Didn't mean to ignore you. I was kind of fixing the little things right now. But Rod, welcome. David McNiner, welcome.
McNiner. What up, Rod?
McNiner's in the house. So yeah, you know what the situation. Aiyuk is out. Debo will be back. Kittle, we got to take it day by day with his foot. Now we have to rely on these kids that we drafted, Enrique Parcell and Jacob Cowing. Now, Jacob Cowing had a beautiful 43-yard or 41-yard catch, which was nice. Do you think the Niners are going to pursue, if there's somebody out there available at the receiver position to bring in, or do you think they're just going to stay in house and try to right this ship with what we got, Pete?
I think if they bring anybody in, it's going to be a vet. It's going to be an aging veteran. Like it's not going to be what people think. I don't think. I don't think that they're going to give up any significant assets for for as far as draft picks to get one of the best wide receivers in the. I just don't see it. I don't even see who's available. Like I know Cooper Kupp. They said Cooper Kupp is available, but I mean, he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And why? Why would you give up a second round? They wanted a second round pick, I heard. And why would you give up a second round pick for a guy that may or may not play?
And he's up there in age already.
I hear the Chiefs are in on that one.
That's they should be. They should be. Like that makes sense for them because they don't have a lot of weapons, period, for Patrick Mahomes. Like, but the 49ers, they should.
And they're also 6-0, not 3-4. So they're in a definitely better position to take a receiver at this.
Dante Whitner was saying in his Hittner takes that the Niners should go ahead and trade for D-Hop. Thoughts?
D-Hop is to me, he's done, man.
I
feel like he is too, though.
He's not a Shanahan guy. He's
that
not a
is true
Shanahan
too.
type of receiver. Like he's not a route runner, and he's definitely not a yak guy. So I don't see that happening. Like he's more of just a go ball, like just throw it up to him type of guy.
Yeah, I hear you. Brandon, I'm going to have you respond to this, bro. John Briggs, thank you for the comment. Appreciate it. Whether we agree with the comments or not, we do appreciate you guys bringing up comments and participating in our live. So appreciate that very much. John says Trent Williams is playing like crap. Clarify on that, John. Played like crap in this game or just been playing like crap all season? And Brandon, what are your thoughts on him? I know that the reason why I picked you to answer this because you were talking about the offensive line earlier before we went live. So what are your thoughts on Trent Williams? Do you kind of agree with John? What's up, Terradome?
It's more. What's up, Terradome? I'd say more in this game for sure. The whole line was kind of just garbage. But then again, Spags has our numbers, so I mean that's just plain and simple right there. But I'd say Trent's been doing fine this season, per se. Everybody else, though, besides Pooney, has been stinking up the whole damn field. So, that's my take on that.
The only thing on Trent on those holding calls, are getting
been
irritating.
A problem for sure. He does need to clean that up for sure. But no, like I said, dude, I feel like Trent's been fine. Besides the holding calls and
what's up, Val?
I think he's been all right. Personally,
I think that he is not as dominant as he has been in the past.
He's not.
And I think that we as 49er fans expect him to be all world, everything all the time, and he's supposed to almost be the whole entire left side, and he's not that this season. Overall, he's fourth out of as far as PFF. If you believe in PFF, he's fourth out of 120 tackles. He has an 86th grade, and he's 84.2 for both pass and block and run. So, he's doing his job. He's doing his job for the most part. I think he's just not dominant
What's up, Roberto?
like he has been in the past. We are struggling, and I think this is what makes it look that way too. We can't get before we used to be able to run to that left side and get at least 1-2 yards. We can't get 1 yard right now in the run game. If the defense knows it's coming, we can't even run behind Trent right now.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Banks hasn't been playing good this year. Brindle is terrible. McKivitz is struggling. It sounds like the rookie, besides Trent, the rookies the best part of the O-line. But, you know, Trent's up there in age. Like Terradome said, he's 36, not 26 anymore. But he's still handling his own. But it doesn't help him along having the guys not pulling their weight like Banks, Brindle, and McKivitz. You know, so it's a lot to ask from Trent, and particularly at his age that he's at now. Now, on the penalties, he needs to dial that down. But as much as it bothers me when it happens because we get some big plays called back, I still give him a pass because everything else that he does. Do I like it? No. But everybody else doesn't pull their weight unless you are Dominic Pooney. Name me a player, guys, on that offensive line that is doing what they're supposed to do on a consistent level. You know, they can't stop the pass rush. Brock Purdy has no time to throw the ball anywhere. You know, people want to blame Brock Purdy on this and that. He's without his good receivers right now. And he has no time to throw the ball because there was pressure in his face. Tell me another quarterback that can be more successful that it's not Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we were talking a little bit about it off the camera, but the reality is that it's our Kyle thinks that he can block with his scheme, and that he doesn't need. He said it over and over again. He doesn't care about the offensive line. That's not word for word what he says. So don't anybody come for me. But in a nutshell, what he says is that he just needs serviceable guys that are smart that can be where they're supposed to be, which tells me that he doesn't care about them being good. He cares about them being literally running pylons, and just enough. They need to do just enough to be there, just to be a body to stand between the defender and whoever, the running back or the quarterback. So he's literally just trying to get Purdy 3 seconds. And then Purdy has to run around and try and make something out of nothing after that. So those offensive linemen just, I mean, other than Trent, like, I mean, the rest of them, they're not planning on them being great. Pooney was just a welcome surprise. I don't even think they thought he was going to be that good.
Can I be honest with you guys?
Go ahead, Brandon.
There's certain content creators in our community that think that our O-line is just fucking phenomenal.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I don't see it.
Don't tell me. Like,
I don't see it. So I don't know what the hell they're looking at. But then certain content creators also blame Brock Purdy for how he plays.
Let me. I'm going to bring a hot topic real quick, guys, and we're going to get in. We're going to make this show juicy tonight. We're going to make it juicy, and we're going to talk about it. There's a lot of 49er fans and content creators that those that want to fire Kyle Shanahan are not rationally thinking. But then there's the other side that say they have seen enough of Kyle. And whether the next coach is better or not, they're willing to take that risk because they've seen enough of Kyle. So I want to know from you guys in a discussion, is Kyle reached his limit on what he can do with the Niners, being that he's been here 8 years, he's been to 3 championship titles, he's been to 2 Super Bowl appearances, but we haven't won the big one. He does choke on some big games. Are we overreacting about that, or is it time for him to go and we got to start searching for another head coach? I want to know the true feelings. I'll start with you, Peter, and then Brandon, but I want you guys to speak from the heart. Whether people agree with you or not, it doesn't matter. I want to know what your thoughts on this topic.
So
let's get juicy, baby.
I have been the biggest Shanahan apologist for, and do I question him a lot? Yes, I absolutely question. But I've always said that I just want him to be better. Because I love the culture that him and Lynch have brought to this team. I love the team, and I honestly think that the scheme is great. However, he can't do simple things to just get a couple of yards. Everything has to be a trick play. And I just don't understand why everything has to have the 2 and 3 motions just to get 2 yards. Why we're running the ball with a fullback on 3rd and 18. Even if you don't think you're going to get it, run a screen or do something. But like running your fullback on 3rd and 18 is like just basically saying, here, have the ball. You can just take it. And he does things like that all the time. And it's just maddening. And so I understand when people are saying that they're done. I understand, because all he's doing is playing with our emotions. He constantly is. I came this close today. I came this close to calling him our Murray Schottenheimer. And the only reason why I didn't is because he actually made it to a Super Bowl. And I didn't want people calling me out because he made it to a Super Bowl. Big freaking deal. Like, I'm at a point now to where I'm looking at it, and that's what I think he is. I think of him the same way that I thought of Jim Harbaugh when he was a 49er coach, and even when he was on Michigan, when he got to Michigan, it took him how many years to finally get his national championship. But I think that's where Shanahan is. It's going to take years for him to finally get it through his skull that sometimes simpler is better in certain situations. And I don't think that we're going to see a ring from him. I just don't. Now, does that mean I want him gone? I don't sit there and say that I want things to happen that I know aren't going to happen. It's exercise in futility. So he's not going anywhere, at least until the end of his contract. I don't see them getting rid of him. I don't care if they end up not having another win this season. I don't think he'll get fired this season. Now, if it happened again the next season, maybe. But we all know that he's going to eventually get some wins, and and everybody's going to pivot how they think about him, and because that's what's happened before, is that he does just enough to get us either close to the mountaintop or right up to the mountaintop, and then we have not just a little letdown, we have a gigantic letdown. Like, it's not even a close letdown. That Super Bowl last year was so disheartening in so many ways. We were not prepared for that game.
It was heartbreaker, yeah.
And the first one,
we led.
We could taste it. We could taste it, and it got taken from our grasp again. And that's what makes it difficult for everyone. And that's why people are just like, I can't take it. I can't take the constant disappointment of thinking that I have the best. We have this great roster, and we've got all these players, and we have all these statistics, number 1 in DVOA, all that stuff, only to just, for lack of a better term, crap the bed, and in the most inopportune moment, and not just one person, because that would be too easy. It's the whole team. There's nobody that you can blame. No one person that you can blame. It's everything. We have CMC fumbling. We have the special teams playing like garbage. The defense gives up a big play. Shanahan calls ridiculous plays at ridiculous times. It's just they implode spectacularly, and that's all. I can't say that I want him gone, because I know it's not going to happen. I'm not going to wish for things that I know aren't going to happen. But it is what it is. I'm just hoping that something eventually clicks in him that tells him, hey, look across the field from you. Did it look like they were doing a whole bunch of bells and whistles? No, it didn't. Now, they have Patrick Mahomes that helps things, but he played like garbage. Let's be real. Mahomes did not play well. The defense did enough to hold him to 154 yards. So they did their job. And you just could not string it together. And I get it that there was injuries. I get it. But some of that stuff was on Kyle. And some of those play calls are just silly. And sometimes we talk about it all the time. You have to trust in the fact that you have better players than the other team does. And he just doesn't do that. So I'm just hoping that one day it clicks and he gets it. And but I'm gonna keep pulling for him until he's not our coach anymore. But I'm not gonna sit there and wish anybody to be fired.
What are your thoughts, Brandon? Let's hear from the heart, brother. Like I said, whether people agree with you or not, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You are a fan of the Niners. You got your thought process. You know how you feel. Is it time for us to move on or not?
Kind of went through this on my show yesterday with the boys. Half of them are done with Kyle and ready to move on. I think I'm still with staying with Kyle, but the thing is I think we're at the point where basically the league has figured him out, and this is why we are struggling, and why Kyle cannot get over the mountaintop, like Pete said. I mean, per se, let's just ask this question: do we still look like this if Christian McCaffrey was playing? Honestly,
I don't think it would make a difference.
I think it's Kyle's vanilla play calling this year.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah,
so,
I think it. Yeah, I don't.
So
I don't think it's
okay. So you guys say no. So because we don't
it
have
would help, but I don't think that's the reason why we're losing all these games.
So it's also I mean, people will say you can't blame the injuries, but the injuries do have a part of why we're.
No, I'm not even blaming the injuries, brother. I'm blaming Kyle and his play calling.
But this is Kyle relying on basically building a game plan around Debo, and once Debo's out,
that's a very good point you brought up right now, Brandon. Good for you.
Sunday was a perfect example for that against the Chiefs. We talked about this yesterday on once again on my show, because Rod and Dion actually kind of brought it up that he always tends to plan a game plan around Deebo Samuel. I don't know why. It never works, especially when he gets hurt, because the guy never stays healthy, right? And then the rest of the game plan goes to shit, right? So I think that's another thing that Kyle needs to get his head out of his culo and come to terms that I shouldn't be doing this anymore because it's not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel you. I think his drop back passing game is terrible. It's always been terrible, and many people have pointed it out, but people still just look at him as
7-step drop, bro. Gotta go.
Oh my God, I thought that was dead after Mike Martz.
Yeah.
Tell me about why are we still doing that? I just don't understand. And you have you don't have an offensive line to give you a 7-step drop.
No.
And not only that, but now teams are, and this was a great point today by, I watched the video, I only got like 3/4 of the way through, of JT O'Sullivan's QB school. Shout out to him.
Tell me what he said. Tell me what he said.
So he said that, and he pointed it out, he said, what he sees teams doing now to the 49ers is that if you're playing the 49ers and you play, you take outside leverage, your corners take outside leverage, they're going to eat you alive because you're giving them the middle basically. But teams are now, at least the better teams, are playing them with inside leverage, and they're making them take an extra it's making them take the long way around on their routes. And so it's adding an extra second, it's messing up all the timing, and that's all it takes, because we know that we don't have the offensive line to hold for more than that allotted amount of time. So if you mess up the timing on Kyle's system, that's a wrap, because his whole entire system is based on timing. So it's I think that's what he's going to have to adjust to it, because now it's there's a lot of it's on tape, it's on film by multiple different teams now that we've seen this, and he's gonna have to adjust. I don't know if he can adjust because I think his whole install is about these concepts, but we'll see. I just hope he can figure it out.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but this dude,
Freaking
what's up, Tommy?
Back again for
He's
more.
like, "Hey, Fairy Boys," instead of the Niner Boys. Whatever,
hey,
Tommy.
Hey, just real quick,
Go play your bass. Guitar. Go ahead, Brandon.
A lot of people say too, we were first in basically everything on offense last year, right? And you know why that was? It was mainly because of Christian McCaffrey. Because we relied on Christian McCaffrey. So once defenses figured that out, we were allowed to be able to open up the passing game, pass it to Aiyuk, Debo, right? All that good stuff. This year we don't got that, and we're also not using.
I mean,
we were first in everything in 2019, and we didn't have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Mason has been balling. Okay, like, and this is the thing: if he doesn't have the same stats Christian McCaffrey has, it's because they don't use him like Christian McCaffrey, and he's been wide open in the flats.
They're not confident with his catching
over
ability.
the middle, but he's caught everything.
I'm with you. I'm saying they're not confident with it. I'm not saying he's not capable. He is capable.
Yeah, it's weird to me that they don't make him more of a focal point.
That's a Shanahan issue.
Wide open. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand. That's what I'm saying is I don't understand. Maybe it's above my pay grade, but it just doesn't make sense. But a lot of the things Kyle does, it goes against traditional football knowledge. He doesn't attack matchups. He just doesn't do a lot of things that you to be football rights and wrongs, and he just doesn't do them. It's really weird.
Yeah, and then you just had that comment that Rod said about how he mentioned how we literally only throw in the middle, and the Chiefs figured that out right on Sunday, and that's when we had to start throwing outside. And I feel like we struggle every time it happens, right? I mean,
what do you mean we just throw in the middle? I mean that shit's been there since last year.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Chiefs not figured out today.
People are starting to fit. Like I said before, people are figuring out Kyle Shanahan's offense. So the shit that we've been doing, it's not going to work no more. We have to change it up. Kyle needs to change it up. Point blank, period.
What is to figure out, though? Kyle, it's very out. Kyle shows you what he likes to do. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Brandon. I'm actually agreeing with you. Kyle shows you what he likes to do. There's no mystery to that. It's just that Kyle doesn't have the players. Pete said something earlier about timing. And this is one of the things I don't really like about Kyle is that everything has to go based on timing. This is why the offensive line doesn't have to be beefy. They just have to be in the right place at the right spot because of timing. But the reality is when a play breaks down, if you got a big boy in the lineman that can protect, now Brock has a chance to maybe extend the play because that timing broke down. But when the timing breaks down and you don't have the bodies to hold,
what's up,
then
TL?
Brock is running for his life. That whole timing bit, it's nice. It's nice when it works. It's nice when you have the players they can execute. But the minute it doesn't, you don't have the players or they're hurt, the whole Kyle's scheme is garbage. It's like, when can you adjust? Where's the screens? Where's the screens at? You got Jacob Cowing. Where are the screens? Let's see what this young man can do in an open field. Where's the jet sweeps? at? Where are they? There were a bunch of them last year. This year, it's like Kyle's so predictable. That's the word I was looking for. He's so predictable that defensive coordinators don't have to figure him out. They already know what he's going to do. When he doesn't have the players to execute, Kyle is vanilla, in my opinion.
Well, no, Kyle. What Kyle is he's that Madden. He's that guy you play in Madden.
Jet.
Yep.
Oh, what up, Red Jet? And what up, TL? I didn't say what's up to TL. Like,
what's up, TL?
But Kyle is that guy that you play in Madden that he finally goes online. He finally goes online to play a real live player, but he's been playing on rookie mode the whole time, and he's been using the same 5 plays this whole time, and then once he gets to be a real good player, like now that they know exactly what he's gonna do, so they just cover that, and he's got nothing.
Yeah, take away those 5 plays is like, oh shit.
Yeah, like
Now what do I do?
Now I got to go back and find another 5 plays.
Yeah,
and then that's what he'll find another 5 plays that he likes, and then he'll come back. Somebody's gonna figure it out, and then like now I got to go find another 5 plays.
You know, I not to interrupt you, Pete, but I love that you brought the whole video game analogy, because Brandon, you play video games, I play video. I don't know, I can't speak for you guys, but I am a creature of habit. If I run a play and it works, guess what I'm doing? I'm running that play over and over until it doesn't work. And then when I throw an interception because the person that I'm playing against or even the console figures it out, I get pissed off that they intercepted me. Well, shit, I've been going for the same play. You know what I mean? And it's like, you gotta
the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, you gotta use different. You gotta call different plays. You just can't go to certain things, and that's what Kyle is. Kyle's about timing. When the timing's not there, you know, why is it that someone like Coach Tomlin, no matter who's your quarterback, no matter who your receivers are, what your offensive line, your defense, has winning seasons?
Every year has winning seasons.
He doesn't have winning seasons every
year. Every year.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He has 500. He just doesn't have losing seasons.
Like, that's what winning seasons are.
That's not Like you can have like
for a long time he was going. We know what you're trying to say.
Here's the thing.
Okay, explain yourself, bro.
Tomlin, let's not act like Tomlin hasn't been like that. Team hasn't been. I mean, it's been bad.
They've been atrocious for a while. Of course.
Okay,
still have winning seasons.
But so why are above 500?
Do we want Kyle to be like that?
No. I'm just saying he can adjust. The only reason I brought him up for this point, no matter who the quarterback is, he can use. No matter who the receiver, no matter who the running back, no matter who the corner, he can adjust to the players and bring the best out of those players because he adjusts to the players. He doesn't make the players adjust to him. Kyle makes player adjust to him. He is not willing to adjust his game calling to the player, in my opinion.
That's true.
That's the only reason why I brought up Tomlin.
Well, Tomlin don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
That's true too.
I mean, I don't know if it's him or if it's his GM, but somebody got to go because like those players, like the teams that they be rolling out there, I don't understand it.
I'm just tired of my way of the highway type of Kyle, bro. It's like figure out what your players do best. Like Mason is not and will never be McCaffrey. But Mason brings great assets to the game. Instead of trying to compare him to or figure out what he is and what he isn't compared to CMC, why don't you figure out who he is as a person, Kyle, and use his best ability and let him flourish? Tailor your play calling to the abilities of Mason and don't try to use the same things you do for a CMC and try to sprinkle it onto Mason. Mason's a different back. Why don't you figure out who do you have in Mason, make calls for him, and allow him to flourish? And as I'm sick and tired of Kyle always trying to make players bend to him, and he doesn't humble himself and game plans based on what the player's ability is. This is why he doesn't trust rookies.
But I don't think that he's calling anything different. I don't think he's calling anything different for CMC. What I think it is they they make CMC the first read a lot, and they're not going to do that from Jordan Mason. And like that's the thing. I think they're still calling the same plays. He's still calling the same plays that he would be. But that's the thing about Kyle's system is that it's supposed to. It doesn't matter who's in the system. There's somebody's going to be open. There's always an answer, is how Kyle puts it. There's always an answer on every single play. Like you just have to find the answer because the defense cannot guard everybody. Like so. When you look at what Kyle's doing, that what I'm saying is that okay, well if that's your answer, maybe you need to come up with some plays that are specifically for some players, and specifically meant to get so and so open. So specifically made to get feature Kittle, specifically made to feature this guy or that guy. It's one thing to make them the first read, but you know that you're putting multiple options out there. And I think that's what Kyle's offense is about. But all of those plays that he makes, they all take time. Everything takes time in his passing game. There is no quick game. They don't do any quick game. And I think that's what we're talking about with the screens. But teams had started but the problem is that Kyle goes to it too much. And he'll just keep running screens. And they'll to the point to where they're not effective anymore. And then he moves on to some other play, and he keeps beating that to death until they figure that one out. And then it's just a revolving door. And I just don't feel he knows how to mix it up and just feature a different guy on random plays. Like it's just his way of calling plays. I know that he's supposed to be a genius, but to me, it's just I don't see genius in it. I see in some of the play designs, I see what they're talking about, the genius. But as far as from a play calling standpoint, I don't get some of his decision making.
Real quick, I just want to say thank you to Roberto Davis for the super chat, $4.99 contribution to the channel. It says from Roberto Davis, why is it Andy Reid retains his talent coaches and Kyle loses coaches every year? Is Kyle hard to work for? One thing I do say, and I want to respond to this, and I want you guys to talk to. One thing I do like about Kyle, that he does bring the best out of his coaches, and his coaches play well enough to get jobs. Now, he doesn't lose coaches to getting fired or not being good. Every coach he's lost is because of a promotion somewhere else. Right, whether they make it out there, Robert Saleh makes it or not, that's not up to Kyle. But Kyle makes his coaches available to be drafted more than Andy Reid does. But
he fired two.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too. Yeah. But Andy Reid has 3 Super Bowls, so I'd rather have 3 Super Bowls than all these head coaches running around.
Beto, can you share this screen real quick?
Yeah.
Well, they look at the coaches that he's got. Like the Andy Reid does a phenomenal job of picking failed head coaches. Like that's what he does. Like he doesn't have to worry about losing his coaches because they've already failed as head coaches. Spagnuolo was a terrible head coach, and so was Jim Nagy. Nagy was a terrible head coach. So yeah, great job, Andy.
You know what? Hold on, guys.
They're not going nowhere, and they're going to.
Let me put this on preview just in case I mess up. Preview. Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Keep talking until I get this thing put on for Brandon.
I hear you, Randy. I see you down there, Randy. And I get it. I'm not saying that Kyle's stupid. Okay, I get it. But you've got to see the frustration and be frustrated at the things that you're seeing when you know you have good enough players. Let's not act like the Chiefs were at full strength. They were down to their rookie wide receiver and a bunch of nothing, just like we were.
Yeah.
And they were running 4 tight end sets. They were running 4 tight end sets. Because they didn't have anybody. So there's no excuse for our offense not taking advantage of, and I'm not talking even about that one game. We've seen it throughout the season. We've seen it last season in the playoffs. Like it's when we go up against better teams, it's just not gonna look. It's not gonna look. It's great when you're going up against. I mean, even when we go up against bad teams, it shows up sometimes because Kyle doesn't target matchups. He doesn't, and he said it himself. It's all his scheme is all to match up. It's supposed to take advantage of the rules of your defense. It's not. He doesn't go up against any matchup. He doesn't take advantage of any of the matchups, even when guys are hurt or they're on their third string cornerback. He's not going to go after that guy. So, I feel the frustration, but we're all frustrated.
All right. So I'm gonna play this real quick from what Jerry Rice said on 957 The Game this morning.
Jerry Rice here on the River Islands guest line on the Morning Roast here on 95.7 The Game. Make sure you pack some Go Fuel as well. We all need it this morning. Go Fuel, the best in the business.
Here, right?
Get some sports
Yes.
energy drinks in your life. Go Fuel. But hey, and he's got a great roster now. Jerry Rice, you're expanding with this roster when it comes to Go Fuel. But you're so right about not throwing outside the numbers or taking shots deep down the field. You got to let defenses know that, hey, we could take the top off the defense and everything is so congested. So what would happen when you were playing? And maybe you guys are running your West Coast offense and you're sticking to the scheme. When did it coach, whether it was Mike Holmgren as your offensive coordinator or George Seifert as your head coach or Bill Walsh, whoever it was, Mike Shanahan as your OC, the last time the Niners won the Super Bowl, when did they deviate from the scheme to say, you know what, let's just go play football. Let's just get our playmakers the ball, because it feels like at times Shanahan is just too stuck to the script.
Yeah, for us, back in the day, I'm going to be honest with you. If we played like the way we played yesterday, we would have probably been swinging on each other on the sidelines. We would have been fighting each other. That was that was not 49er standard right there. I would say probably what we would do is just simplify everything, go back to route running, go back to where, Brock Purdy is feeling a little bit more comfortable back there in the backfield, where he can see the lanes where he wants to throw the football and stuff like that. And let these guys earn their money, man. These guys are professional. And I don't know who's going to suit up next week, because it's like with all the injuries, McCaffrey, Samuel, Aiyuk, Jennings, all of that going on. There's still some veteran guys out there like a DeAndre Hopkins, like Mike Williams, Deontay Johnson, and stuff like that. They might have to bring some other people in, because I don't know what happened with Debo yesterday.
Yeah, he said he got sick. I don't know what happened, Jerry.
I don't know what happened, man, because I saw him warming up. Then after that was it.
Yeah.
And we got to get some guys on the field, but I think just to simplify everything, where Brock Purdy is more comfortable, he can see the lanes and stuff like that. I think that's going to equate to winning football games. And also, our defense fought hard for the longest.
Yeah, I agree.
But, eventually they're going to get tired, so things just didn't happen yesterday. But I'm still going to stay positive. They got to somehow turn it back around, get a win against those Cowboys, which I hate those Cowboys. Oh. They're coming to town. So, but we got to get it.
We got to get it, baby.
Yeah. So, let me say something real quick, because my buddy Brian is in here. He asked about, because he's a Cowboy fan, and he wanted an honest prediction for this week. My honest prediction is, I don't know.
Honestly,
who
I don't
knows?
know either.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, usually we're confident on Cowboy week, but
yeah,
this time
I
don't know, man.
I'm confident that we're going to try and run the ball, and because the Cowboys, I should be confident that we're going to run the ball, but that's about it. I mean, we don't have many healthy players. I don't know if Debo's going to be healthy enough to play. He got let out of the hospital today, but he's probably, I don't know, pneumonia.
We don't even know if Kittle's going to play.
Yeah, we don't know if Kittle's going to play. So, I mean, who knows?
Hey, real quick, I don't know how true this is, but source ML Football said that the Jaguars receiver Christian Kirk is drawing significant interest in the trade market, and he has been linked to the Chiefs and Niners by the league front office personnel.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
I can see
Christian
that.
Kirk,
Yeah.
beam me
I
up,
could-
Kirk.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, he's not. He's a slot guy. Like
Yeah.
he's a slot guy. That's so I don't know about him running. He would not be an X. Like we need an X guy.
Yep. Exactly.
We
Hey,
need
real
somebody
quick-
that can beat man coverage. And I don't know that Christian Kirk is that guy.
Real quick,
Yeah,
Pete,
Honestly, go,
y'all,
go ahead.
Y'all think Juwan comes back this week?
I hope so. Same response. I hope so. We need him.
I know.
Definitely
Me too.
need him. Listen, at 3-4, I don't expect the Niners to really pursue someone and give up a lot of capital for. At 3-4, if
It'll
we
be
were
a rental.
if we were 5-1, if we were, we had maybe 2 losses, and we lost Aiyuk the way we did, I can see them actually giving up some draft capital to get someone that can help us. At this point, they're looking for people that are not going to be too expensive on the trade capital part, and see what they can give. Maybe they can give a future 2025 for Christian Kirk to bring him here and pay him. But I doubt it if they give any high capital for next year for any receiver this year. Because name me a receiver out there that is worth a second round, or God forbid a first round. There's nobody available that that teams are willing to part with. That I think
They're already gone.
yeah, Devontae Adams
Very
would have been a great choice, but we can't blame the Niners on that. They didn't know that Aiyuk was going to get hurt,
Yeah.
and you don't bring a player in because a player might get hurt, so let's bring him just in case. You know what I mean? But I bet you if Devontae Adams was available now, he will be somebody that I think the Niners would have pulled the trigger on and paid some heavy capital on to bring his type of caliber of play. But besides him, who's available, bro? Who's out there that you can convince me that it's worth a second round or even a third round next year for? I don't see it. What's up, Brian?
I don't know.
What's up, Bay Area Sports 83? What's up, guys? Niner gang, what's up?
I would have just said D Hop. That's the only person I could think of, honestly.
See, D-Hop won't cost that much on capital.
He won't at all.
He won't.
No,
so,
he wouldn't. But
so-
he's not a Shanny guy. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it would be one thing if Shanny was flexible with his scheme, but he's not.
And we talked about that earlier. He doesn't not change his ways for players. He wants players to fit his scheme.
yeah.
Yes.
He won't bring someone in and say, okay, you know what? We need a receiver. He's a good receiver, but I'm going to adjust to him to make it work. Shanahan in his weird mind figures, I can win my way. And I'm going to bring players that can win my way. And if they can't win my way, I don't want them here. And sometimes you have to make an adjustment and bring someone like D-Hop, but adjust to him, not trying to make him adjust to you. And he did the same thing with our defensive coordinator last year. He brought him in and says, I want you to coordinate this defense that way that D'Amico did and the way that Robert Saleh did. Instead of saying, oh, all right, what do you have to offer? Let's try it your way. He's not going to let that happen. And then he got Sorensen in there because he's a yes man. Yes, man. And he's sucking. And we gave him credit.
He didn't do bad this last game. Come on now.
So
The last two games haven't been bad.
So you're still in that frame that he just needs some more time to continue to figure out who he is.
Yeah.
What kind of coordinator is going to be. He's in his 8th game. D'Amico
I
figured that
understand what
out by
you're
the
saying.
5th game.
The last couple of games have not been bad. The offense has let them down. Like they got 2 turnovers. They got 2 interceptions.
I
They
agree.
held Patrick Mahomes to 154 yards passing. And the what's it called? I mean, what that's the champs.
Dude,
Like that's the champ.
What about the
Sunday's
17 missed
that was-
tackles?
Sunday's game was literally a defensive battle. That's really what it was.
But wait a minute. But the offense gave up the ball more than the Chiefs did. The 49ers had 3 picks. And I think they had a fumble too. Or they didn't lose the fumble. But they did.
I don't remember. It was terrible.
And then the special teams playing like garbage, setting up in terrible position.
Like usual.
So I mean, it's just you can't leave that. They're not a defense where you can leave. They don't have the personnel to be leaving them on the field the whole game. They weren't that last year, and I think that they're actually. I think that they're doing a lot better than
Nick
they were in
Sorensen's
the beginning.
defense. He's been dealing with Campbell instead of Greenlaw.
Yeah.
Okay,
Campbell instead of Greenlaw. He's had way more injuries on the defense than
that's a good
than
point.
last year.
He hasn't had the Hufanga. He's been out. Hargrave, whether people like him or not, he went out. We lost. Although he was declining anyway. But we lost Armstead. So there was a lot of changes that comes into factor on Nick Sorensen compared to Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes
I'll tell you
had a better defense.
Defensive line is playing better this year than they were last year.
That is true.
The last couple of games, they've played well.
Right.
I hate to say this, but they've been playing better since Hargrave got hurt. And I know it sounds like I did by saying it, but it's the truth.
I wish they would get Evan Anderson like some actual run.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
I agree.
He's raw, but he's good, man. He demands 2 offensive linemen at all times. That means Collins is open. That means Collins can put some pressure. When you're demanding 2, because you're a big boy like Anderson, and you're demanding 2 offensive linemen on you at all times, man, that just opens it up for everybody else.
For a long time. The defense has missed that long for a long time.
That big hog dude.
A big body. Yep.
What was the name of that guy for years? Wilkes, was it? He was for the Patriots.
I know who you're talking about.
That guy.
I know Terradome knows.
The guy just. That guy was like a big brick in the middle of the field, man. It's like nothing is getting by him. He just took space in the middle of the field.
I'm gonna look it up.
Is Anderson that? No, but he does demand space. He does plug in that hole.
Vince Wilford.
Wolford, yeah. I know Wolford, yes. That
Wilford.
boy was a beast. That guy was. Yeah, he wasn't great. He wasn't a great pass rusher, although he had his share. But the guy can just plug in a hole. You will not run in his direction, and I see that with Anderson.
Yep, I like Anderson, and I like there's a couple of people I like. I like Shaquille Brown, and I like who's the other guy? Khalid Davis actually flashed a little bit in this last game.
That batted ball to himself and interception was sweet.
That was awesome.
Like, I mean, his issue is always, and I feel like he's always, whenever he gets on the field, he flashes, but he can't get any continuity.
He gets hurt too fast to maintain.
Yeah, he just stays hurt.
Yeah. It's like any creature of habit. You got to build blocks, right? You got to build blocks. So every game you build, but if you're inconsistent because of injury, and truthfully no fault to himself, it's hard to build those blocks. And he needs to build that confidence in himself. And let's see how he does. But I always liked him from when we drafted him, the fact that he's a fullback converted. Was it a fullback or a linebacker converted into a linebacker into converted into a D tackle, which I've never heard that since I've been a Niner fan or fan of football, period. And I like him. I like Jordan Elliott, what he brings to the table.
I like Jordan Elliott too.
Yeah, that guy's underrated. At least for my opinion, he brings a lot. And Malik Collins, well, he's not, beating up the charge and becoming an All-Pro this year, but the kid quietly is putting pressure on quarterbacks. I tell you one thing, Malik Collins is doing a better job than number 56. Can't think of his Leonard Floyd this year.
Yeah,
at least to me.
He had a decent game Sunday.
Who,
I wanted
Leonard
to answer
Floyd?
Rod because Rod said why is Sorensen given chances and Wilkes never had the defense out of the top 10 ever. The difference is that obviously Wilkes was not a fit, and I'm not saying that he didn't statistically have them, like the stats were the stats. I get it, but it was obvious on the field that there was a disconnect, and this is the thing. It was a bad fit because he was a veteran defensive coordinator that had a scheme that he was used to running, and he was forced to run Kyle's system. The Sorensen is built from within, but it's his first time being a defensive coordinator. He's gonna be given, in my mind, he's gonna be given a little bit of leeway. You had to imagine that he was gonna be given a little bit of leeway because of he's new, brand new to the job. Like nobody's gonna be great just right out the box, and then you put all the injuries into how many was the defense really that hurt last season?
No,
Not really,
None of our
everybody's
players were
healthy.
really that hurt last
except
year.
for Armstead. Yeah. But for the most part, he had his full crew for the majority of the season, and he definitely had Greenlaw basically. Well,
He had him
did
all
miss
year.
Greenlaw personally. Well,
He
missed
lost him in
for
the
a few
Super Bowl.
games. But no, didn't he miss him for a couple? Didn't he miss a couple of games?
No, he started day one.
Because he was dealing with the leg before that, I thought, or maybe he was just playing through it. But yeah, I just think that there's something to be said for just continuity of knowing you were brought up in the scheme, and that's what Kyle wants to run. And it was frustrating him watching Wilkes try to run his scheme when it was obvious that Wilkes did not want to run his scheme.
right.
Real
That's
quick,
all.
just quickly intermission. For those that are tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe to all our channels. If you guys are watching on my channel, make sure to follow Pete and Brandon on their channels. If you watch on their channel, follow mine if you get the opportunity. But most importantly, hit the like button. All we ask for you guys to show some love for us is just hit that like button on our channel, wherever you're watching at. We would appreciate it. Thank you for hanging in there. Great show. I love it. Let's keep it going as long as we can, Pete.
Yeah, I gotta get going first.
That's what I know. Me and Brandon are more of the same time frames.
Yeah.
That's why I always bring it up to you because I know you're 3 hours ahead. So that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So you let me know when you're ready to taper it down. We can taper it down.
Should we kind of conclude it right now? We hit an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're past hour. We're 40 strong, but yeah, we can.
So real quick, what do you guys think? Just real quick, do we want to talk, talk a little bit about the game versus Dallas? What do we expect to
Yeah, we
see?
can.
Is there?
I don't expect to see anything, but we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dallas loses to themselves, so I'm not worried about Dallas. I'm worried more about Buffalo and Packers later on. But
they're
Dallas,
not a good team, but neither is the Rams.
Here's a perfect question for you guys, and then we can close it out.
Yeah.
Do we see the Niners turn around regardless of the injuries, like they have before? We started 3-5 before. We started 2-5 before or whatever, and we turned it around and ended up winning out. But I'm not saying we're going to win out this season, but do we see us possibly winning the division? Because our division's kind of weak. I'm not even going to lie.
go ahead, Pete.
What was the question? Are we gonna win the division?
Can we turn it around?
Can we win out like we did last year and make it the playoffs and make
Can
a
we
deep
win
run?
out? Oh.
It wasn't last year. 2 years ago, I think.
Or 2 years
Can
ago,
we
yeah.
win out?
Or
Remember
can we
we
win?
started
Can we
3-5
win
and we
enough to
turned it
make the
around?
playoffs? How's that?
That's what I'm. I think that we can still make the playoffs. I still think that
Okay.
we can make the playoffs. We're gonna have to win the division though.
So
And,
okay,
That's
so
what
by
I'm
making the
saying.
playoffs,
Cool.
you're stating that we have to win the division to do so.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. And I think we can because our division's weak this year. I'm not capping at all.
Well,
This is
I mean, and now that's acting like everybody's going to. We're only seven games in, so that's saying that everybody else stays healthy throughout this whole
right.
thing. If somebody there, it's entirely possible that that other teams could have end up having just as many injuries as the 49ers. Not that I'm wishing injury upon anybody, but it's entirely possible. And some team that's up there right now could fall off a cliff. We saw it with the Eagles last year. It's always possible that it doesn't. We don't even have to win the division. It could be as simple as we just squeak in the wild card, but
Then
it's going to be tough sledding.
the Niners have the playmakers. Even though we lost Aiyuk, we still have Debo. We still have a Kittle, Juice, Jawan Jennings, and so forth. And we're going to get CMC hopefully back after the bye, or at least close to it. Hopefully, we're going to be getting Greenlaw back. So we are getting some players back, and hopefully Ricky Parcells starts picking up some momentum on offense. So are we capable of winning our division? Absolutely. Brandon made a great point. It's not a great division this year. We're not the NFC North. We're the NFC West this year, and it's up for grabs. Now, am I confident that we can go deep into the playoffs as we were when we were 3-5? No. I think
if they get there,
anything can happen. Obviously,
Yeah, of course.
anything can happen.
Because, like you were saying, like we talked about earlier, in the past, Shanny's been able to pivot, and he did. I mean, a couple of years ago, when Trey's rookie year, we shouldn't have made the playoffs that year, and we ended up in the NFC Championship game. And and so anything can happen once you make it into the playoffs. Then it's all about a matchup game, and so it's entirely possible that they could do the exact same. It wouldn't surprise me if they ended up right back in the NFC Championship game because they're capable.
But that home field advantage is bye-bye.
Well, yeah, they didn't have it that year either.
Yeah, that's okay.
They didn't have it that year either.
No. I think
remember that was the year they went into Green
maybe
Bay?
I'm wrong, but I think the Niners play better when they play away than at home.
I think so too. I think they play better when their back is against the wall.
Yeah.
Let's go Lakers.
All right, so that's okay. That's our cue to end it.
Lakers. Let's go. Anyway, guys, great show, great time. Before we go, since we still have quite a few people in there watching, Pete, what do you got going on in your channels, man? And what do you got going on this week, brother? Let us know.
Yeah, Niner Fanatic Podcast. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. And I was talking to Brandon in the back. We're going to figure Instagram out. So I'm going to get that going as well. And then, like I say over and over again, if you just get tired of looking at my face, all you got to do is just listen to the audio version on your way to work. I don't care if you just put it on when you're just sitting around doing nothing. I don't care where you get it, just get it. But I'll be back on Thursday, getting you ready for the Cowboy game, and then right after the game, I'll be doing my instant reaction show, which I do it a little bit, about an hour or an hour and a half, after the game, just so I can get so I can play the press conferences for you guys.
Love it. Brandon, what you got going, bro?
So we're gonna go ahead and try to do a show later on in the week to preview the Cowboys game, Sunday Night Football, and then we'll be right back here next Tuesday to go over the game with Beto and Pete, and to preview the next game after, or actually it's bye week after. So never mind, but we'll go over the game, but we'll also be going live probably Monday as well to go over the game with the other guys. But yeah, Favorite Podcast.
I love Brandon. Yeah, tune in, man. Make sure to tune in. Tune in on this Thursday. Myself and of course I have no camera on this. Anyway, you don't need to see me. This is what happens when you have too many cameras. The one that you need to work is not working. I regress. Follow us on Thursday. We're going to be having our show on Thursday at 5 p.m. Myself and Jess from East Coast Red and Gold. We'll be talking more 49er football. So join us, and every Tuesday, as like today, at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard. Myself, Pete, and Brandon. Love these guys. Love all of you. Thank you for a great turnout. Have a wonderful evening. Go Niners. It's going to be okay, guys. We're going to be all right. We just got to stick through and weather the storm. And let's go ahead and take pride on that name that we like to use, the faithful. Let's remain faithful and watch our team see what they do. Trust me, if we don't make it far, we'll have enough time to cry and bitch for. Until then, let's remain faithful. We are out of here. Good night. God bless. And go Niners.
Go Niners.
The Niners Boys Podcast is out.